All right, hello everybody. This is gm-rikoo. It is the 7th of May 2014, and today we're going to do something a little special. This is not a live stream. We're still having our Strategy Monday live stream coming up. The next one is going to be about trade and bartering and crafting and all that good stuff. I believe I already have a guest lined out for that, but I'm going to verify with the person who's supposed to be the trade master in Illy. But what are we going to do? Something special today, just kind of on the side. GM Stormcrow thought it'd be neat to pull in some of these wacko, crazy LOU players here coming from Lord of Ultima and have just seemed to taken over the game, which is fantastic to see. He thought it'd be cool to pull some of them in for a questionnaire, kind of a Q&A session to kind of see how they decided upon Illy, what they think about it so far, and also to get some idea of how Lord of Ultima worked as well. Now, for those who don't know, I have a history in gaming press. I've been in gaming press for years and years. So I actually have an active Lord of Ultima account, and I've actually played it off and on. I think I spent a total of $25 there, which is not much compared to some people. And I thought it was a pretty good game. So it's really unfortunate to hear about its closing because I think it is a really well-made game. But there are many differences between that and Illyriad. So we're going to see if our panel notices any of these differences yet. With me, I'm going to introduce each one one by one. We have Gordy, first of all. Hello, Gordy.
Hello.
How are you doing?
Not too bad. How about you?
I'm fine in this wonderful Texas weather that hopefully, excuse me, will not turn into a thunderstorm or my herding breed dog will freak out. So I have to give him a pill to calm him down. And then we have Alakazam. Hi, Alakazam.
Hi there.
Now,
Hi.
Alakazam, your kitty picture on Skype is in German.
Yeah, I just kind of thought it was funny, to be honest.
He's saying something about the melon is his?
Yes. This is my watermelon, mine.
Well, very cute.
Yeah, I just found it somewhere and thought it was funny, so I put it up.
I think nobody can see that really on the stream or on this. I should say this is a podcast. This is not a live stream, a vidcast, I should say. But what's funny about it is when you play a lot of MMORTS, really hardcore kind of PvP-based games, you see some of the cutest little pictures in people's profiles. It's pretty funny. And then we have Stu. Hello, Stu. How you doing?
I'm doing fine, thank you.
Good, very good. Now, what you're watching right now, if you're watching this video later, which you should be because you can't be watching it live right now, you're watching Illyriad as I play. I'm just going to plunk around it live. I'm not really playing the game right now. This is my GM account, so you're going to see things that seem different, like I have a ton of prestige and stuff like that. That's just GM stuff that I have to have. We GMs do not play the game. We have to kind of experience some of it, but I am a former player for those who have asked, so I played for actually several years, so I'm familiar with the game, but we do need to be able to get into the game and plunk around and stuff like that. So eventually I hope to be able to fight the other GMs so that we could get a better taste for all of that. All right, so what we're going to start off with some basic questions today, and then once we do that, we're going to kind of go into some just a little more freeform stuff. First thing, I'm going to start with Gordy. Gordy, you come from Lord of Ultima in one of the larger alliances. Is that correct to say?
Yeah, that's right.
Now, how large of an alliance are we talking? Do you have numbers? Just generally.
I think when we were ending, we were probably around 200.
200 members?
Yeah.
Very cool. Very cool. So, and you've already started a Lord of Ultima alliance in Illyriad, right?
Yes, we have.
How many members do you have there?
I think we've got probably about 65, and we've got more waiting.
Wow. So we've got, what I can do is I can search for you here real quick. I'm going to look up your alliance. Where is your alliance? Ultima LOU. All right. And members? Look at that. That's pretty impressive. So I'm going to be asking you more about that and what your plans for world domination and all that good stuff are. But before I get started, when you were leaving Lord of Ultima, what drew you to Illyriad? What was the first thing that caught your eye? What was kind of the process to decide on a game?
We actually went through a large number of games. I've got a giant spreadsheet with all the different games and all the different attributes to them. And I played Ebony before I started playing Lou. So
don't say that word, chat.
It's actually a good experience to play Ebony because you learn, how to PvP really well.
Right.
And so coming from there, I didn't ever want to play another pay-to-win game. And Lord of Ultima had a very interesting mana system that kept players from spending too much money in the game. Mm-hmm. So that was pretty much the biggest thing for me was I didn't want to pay to win.
Right. I've played Ebony, like I said. That list that you have, I'd be interested in seeing it off there because I guarantee I've probably played every single one of those games. I have a bookmark I covered browser games for years, so I actually played so many MMORTSs. And Ebony, actually, I think people give it a hard time. I think what they're referring to a lot of one of the big differences between Ebony that you guys, I don't know if you've noticed that yet in Illyriad, is there's no farming, quote unquote. In Ebony, what people can do is they can find a newbie town, send an army at it, come back with some goods, and just kind of continue to do it. Have you guys and girls noticed that at all? Or let's see, Stu, I'm going to ask you about that. Have you were you a farmer in Lord of Ultima?
Yeah, well, it was one of the first things that I struggled with, really, was sending out caravans and getting 10 of them come back with nothing, and trying to work out, well, how do you build resources in this game if you don't have a farming stream? So it is different. In Lord of Ultima, different. I also played Ebony, coincidentally, but not with Gordy. Prior to Gordy, I probably stopped there about 3.5 years ago, and I've been on LOU since then.
Yeah.
But in LOU, we built military towns, and we got the guys out raiding, and essentially they would raid until the dungeon was cleared, and then you would set them up again. So you had kind of like 12-hour, 24-hour time you had to get back to the guys, and that worked for me. That it wasn't constantly having to be on. That suits my lifestyle. So
right.
Ebony, unfortunately, I was around when the bots sort of became prevalent in Ebony, and that kind of ruined it for me. That ultimately the bots just did all the farming, and then the guys could build these massive armies and just wipe you out while you were asleep at night. So
now they said in Lord of Ultima that bots were actually responsible. You would have to tell me more, because I guess my time with the game was limited, but they said that bots actually led to a server issue where it was basically causing lag. Did
yeah, well, I played. Yeah, I played in that. We actually managed to win that server, that Battle of the Lords, BOL abbreviation, and it was terrible. Yeah, I'm down far away from Europe and the US, and I just couldn't set anything. The lag became more than a day at one point in time. So something happened. I can't confirm there was bots. I don't know what the real cause was, but it was certainly unplayable, and I think that was part of the demise, really, that the core players that they invited in became very disgruntled and in fact bailed, and that's probably why one alliance actually won in the end, is that the big alliance just bailed, couldn't cope with lag.
Well, and let's talk about that a little bit. Alakazam, you can. I'll pull you in on this part of it. Did some of the servers have a win scenario or a time limit? I can't remember how the servers worked over there.
So basically at LOU, it's complicated. You crown after maybe kind of 9 months there, so you need to build up palaces, and kind of, I suppose, like after building enough palaces, you have 8 main palaces that are built to level 10, and at that point you crown.
Okay, that kind of makes sense. Stu, so I'm sorry, Gordy. So we were talking though. What was out of that list? I'm sure you're trying out other games as well. If you want to talk on that a little bit, but out of that list, what do you think drew you to Illy? Was it? I mean, because it is a similar game, but it looks differently and plays so much differently. So why did you think you wanted to give it a chance?
The thing that drew me to it is I basically narrowed it down to 2 games. One game was Dawn of Fantasy, which
I'm familiar with that.
Had no pay to win, had no in-game market, but had very relaxed PvP. Had very you couldn't be attacked when you're offline. You have to agree to doing a battle. And it was also not very much an alliance game. It was more of you could be in an alliance, but there was no alliance functions.
Right.
In this game, the first thing I do is I check the in-game market, and the fact that you couldn't speed up research, and that you couldn't that you couldn't get res from items, told me that it wasn't a big pay-to-win game.
Yeah, this comes from the PR side of me, because I do community management and PR. In a lot of ways, there's parts of me that wish it was pay to win because it makes a lot of money. Of course, I would never have that design in the game, and I'm just joking about that. But it's absolutely true that in a lot of games, what they call pay to win would be referencing probably buying resources, which isn't necessarily pay to win, but you can literally in some games buy actual units. stuff like that. In Illyriad, how it works, so while you three are with me, just in case you wondered, when you have a prestige account, you start that prestige account, and what it can do is it can basically do a few things. It can speed up, it can instantly finish a build. Let's say if you have a 3-day build on a building, it can instantly finish it. It can give you some additional buffs to like 20% food production, 20%, so it's not a huge amount. And then it can actually buff your military units, 10% attack strength, defense strength, diplomatic strength, diplomatic referring to like spies and thieves and stuff. But what they found is it was such a small amount on the units there, the 10%, that it would not be enough to turn the tide of battle. It might be if you had exactly mirrored armies, but it's not enough. So the designers, Stormcrow and Thundercat, were very, very, very big on that. They didn't want any type of pay-to-win scenario. And so the research, it takes a while that you can't speed up as part of that kind of braking mechanism. Do you know what I mean?
And it's very reasonable as well. I mean, the prestige is not expensive, and it's not something that can make somebody dominate the game in very little time. I mean, in Ebony, you could come into a new server, and somebody would drop $5,000.
Oh, sure.
And, be well advanced of everybody else and just port around killing everybody the whole time, and that kind of ruined the game.
Okay, so let's move on to some of the questions, because I don't want to take 4 hours for this. But Gordy, since you had, what's that? No, I'm getting some echo from somebody. Everybody good?
Yep.
Okay.
I'm good.
Okay, making sure I didn't lose anybody. Gordy, we'll start with you. What was your play style in Lord of Ultima? Was it really aggressive? Was it peaceful? How did you play?
Well, our alliance name was Crush, and we basically lived up to that name. We were a very aggressive alliance.
Oh, I thought maybe you meant because you went around like giving people presents and stuff.
No, crushing refers to knocking. I think that the Illy term would be raise. So you go around crushing people's palaces and castles and things like that.
In Lord of Ultima, I can't remember because I was never attacked. Like I said, I played it very, very few hours. When you're attacked, in Illyriad, for example, I'll say what happens in Illyriad, and you guys tell me what it's like. Guys and girls, I'm sorry, tell me what it's like in Lord of Ultima. In Illyriad, if somebody wants to raise your town, they literally raise it to the ground. You will be spawned in another area with a brand new town. You keep your research. But you're destroyed. Now in Lord of Ultima, is there any type of scenario like that?
You can get 7-pointed, which is the term that we use, and that's basically your town hall goes to level 1 and the castle goes to level 1, but you don't lose the city. You can lose the city. Somebody can take it from you if they send a baron along with it.
Okay. And farming, though, is possible because somebody could attack your town, not do much damage, but go ahead and pull out some resources, right?
Yeah.
That's not very common.
Okay. What were you saying, Stu?
Yeah, very uncommon. Particularly because there's two things. There's a town and there's a castle. And if it was a town, you would suffer such big losses as an attacker that generally we never attack towns, very rarely, unless you found a hub or something that was not protected. But I don't think in my history really hit on a town at all.
Alakazam, I'll ask you, what was your play style like? Because you were an enemy of Stu's, of Gordy's. So did you constantly attack him?
I tried my best. My play style is, I suppose, like personally, it's also quite aggressive.
Why aren't you guys nice? That's not. I'm gonna have to. Oh man, I'm gonna watch.
It's fun to be nice.
I kid because if you watch our chat. People often joke, our chat is so nice. Everybody's hugging and all that stuff like that, which we actually jokingly banned for a while. We would silence people who would hug. But there is some. If you watch the stats page, which one of the things we have that a lot of games don't have, I can't really think of one, is we have a live stats page. You can actually watch how many armies are marching and dying and how much money is being put into the economy. And there is a lot of death constantly in the game. So you were pretty aggressive though.
I was, yeah. My alliance was a bit smaller though, so ultimately we weren't able to take on Gordy's alliance. But I suppose, yeah, like most of the good players in my alliance would have been quite aggressive players as well.
Okay.
Just didn't have enough in us.
Okay, and now you're the newbie, so this is fantastic. All right, Stu, I'm going to start with you on this one. How do you hope your old ways of playing translate to this new game? Are there similar tactics you're going to use?
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see. Please bear in mind, we've been there 6 days, so we're certainly no experts in this. I mean, we're learning every day, reading all the literature, and finding the guys very helpful in providing the stuff. So, I mean, we are noobs, make no mistake. I think that in any alliance, it's teamwork that makes the game work. And within that team, people take on various roles. So I tend to play resource accumulation, defense help, and assist with attacks when needed. But a guy like Gordy would play out at the front and be crushing everything left and right.
Okay.
So now I'll probably do the same in this game. I'll research a lot, I'll read up a lot, work out what the best strategy is, what gives the higher yields, where you want to focus your energies, and then direct the guys towards that and support. And it's early days for us, so we've got to build, we've got to teleport, get into an area, set up those 7 food cities, and then grow. So I guess with knowing nothing, that's kind of the strategy at this stage. I guess it could change next week as we learn that you can't really farm to the extent that we used to farm, and that.
Oh, you could try. You could definitely try, and you'll see quickly how the alliance is. Now, how it basically works, and there's a lot of. I want to be clear on this as the community manager, because the chat is so active, and there's certain players that are so active. They'll make it sound almost like there are certain game rules that don't allow you to do certain things. I want everybody listening, especially any new players, to be clear. If you're not sure of if it's a game rule, like it's a game enforced rule, like you can't physically do something, like the 10 square rule, like people talk about, stuff like that, you need to ask, or you can always in-game mail me, gm-rikoo. You can just send me an in-game mail, or go on the forums or whatever, or just ask in the chat. If you're nervous or you don't want to sound like a noob, whatever, you can ask me. But there's a lot of that. You have a lot of really friendly players and a lot of really kind of socially enforced rules, like how to perform. So like I was saying, if you want to try, let's say if you tried to farm newbie towns and you were a big player, you probably would be sieged out of the game. Not out of the game, but you'd be sieged to death. They don't like that, and so it pretty much keeps. The basic rule or the basic design idea is everybody has a loaded gun, and when everybody has a loaded gun, people are nervous, but they mostly behave, at least in video game land. But so far, Stu, since you're talking to me right now, how do you feel about the newbie experience so far?
Well, the community's been great, I must say. In LOU, the world chat would have been very quiet. We really chatted amongst the alliance mainly.
Correct me if I'm wrong, because every time I'm in LOU, I kept thinking I did something wrong because there's never a chat going in world chat.
Yeah, I must say I personally never really spoken world chat that often.
Weird.
Yeah, so Illy's very different. I can see certain characters come up more often than others, but the guys have been great. I mean, sure, if we get resource sent to us, something that wouldn't happen in LOU, there we kind of had to figure out ourselves and within an alliance. Pretty much like you, there were training alliances, and then guys got into military alliances kind of on the second server or perhaps later on. I've found the information, you ask a question and you get a ton of information dropped, which is great because you can go read it in your own time. It's been great. 6 days in, please remember.
Yeah.
But it's been fantastic up till now, and I'm enjoying it. It looks good. It's got the kind of dynamic that you want to happen. You guys have spoken about what you don't want to happen, and you can see that you got limits on research and various things. So it looks, it all looks good. It's going the right direction, and looks like fun.
Alakazam, what about you? Have you enjoyed the newbie experience, or?
Yeah, very much. Everybody's been really friendly and helpful and so polite and nice, and hugs everywhere. It's been brilliant.
This is going to be so fun when you guys start. When I'm having to yell at you guys in chat, please stop cursing, because you're so mad at people right now. I can't wait till it's a year down the road and you're like controlling half the server and all. I love all that good drama. It's all a lot of fun. We love lots and lots and lots of fighting and arguing as long as you obey the rules, but we love that kind of. It's not a war game. A lot of people call it a war game, but it's a game with the option to war if you want. It's also a trading game and a role-playing game and all that stuff like that. So feel free to do what you want. I can't wait to see how it happens. All right, so let's go on to the next question. What did I have? I had one from Twitter. I thought. Here we go. Gordy, this is for you. What's important to you as someone who plays? Now, from what it sounds like you played pretty in an organized fashion in LA. So what's important to someone who plays in an active or organized alliance?
The point of glue was really organization. That's what separated good alliances from bad alliances. You had to have everybody working together to crown. And I think that it's mostly the people, but a lot of it is the willingness of people to follow somebody and knowing that their strategies are going to be good. A lot of times, alliances that have problem with organization is because one of the members thinks that they know better than the leadership, and so they don't want to follow. Mm-hmm. And I find that a lot of times it's just having confident leadership that people know there isn't going to be led astray, you know?
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So that's a really important thing.
Alexander, what about you?
I would agree, yeah. I think that probably the reason that our alliance and LOU didn't do so well was probably we had a couple of leaders, and sometimes they would kind of question each other and stuff, and it kind of didn't come across as strongly as maybe Gordy's alliance did. So yeah, I would totally agree. And since I've been in Ultima, the Ultima alliance in Illy, it's been great. Everybody has just kind of fallen in line behind Gordy.
Well, we'll see what happens. This is the good part. Stu, what did you think, though? What's important to somebody who plays organized? Because I know you saying you like to read up and stuff a lot.
Yeah, I think also there's another dynamic that you mustn't miss, and that's the female influence on sorting out the diplomacy. The male guys can get themselves quite into a jam and end up killing each other and destroying stuff, and that's where Gordy and Cat come in well. Cat plays the female role and manages to keep the guys' egos in check and manages to keep the guys a little sweeter and show them that we're working towards one direction and pull the odd guy straight when it needs to happen. So I think you need a strong leadership, but you also need that second leader to marshal the troops, rally the support, keep the guys on the fringe in check, and then when someone's out of line, actually take action and actually kill them. Just take them out for the sake of the team. Just sort it out.
Very cool. All right, so this is an important question for all of you. We'll start with Gordy because everybody was talking about Gordy like he was speaking in one direction, like he was one direction, like Gordy's here. So Gordy, as the man who everybody was mentioning, how do you think you'll stack up against it? Now, I know it's very early. This is the fun part, though. How do you think you'll stack up against the current game's vets? I don't know if you're familiar with some of the vets in the current game, or if you've kind of gone and poked around the alliances, or if you see some of the power struggles that are going on. But how do you think you'll stack up? Do you think you'll be able to eventually destroy every single one of them and laugh at their corpses, or what?
I think that this game is different from the games that we're used to. This game is a lot more like Evany, as it's a persistent world. So we're coming in at a very big disadvantage to people who have been playing for 4 years and gotten all of their cities straightened out,
Sure.
and know all of the mechanics. But between me and Stu, we're very good at researching game mechanics and figuring things out. And I've never played a game that I lost.
Oh, that's a challenge. the glove has been thrown down. All right, Alakazam, how do you think you're going to stack up? Now, I think you're kind of downplaying your alliance in the other game, but how do you think you'll stack up? You think you'll be able to compete pretty well if that's what you choose to do?
I think so, yeah. I suppose it's so early in the game, it's hard to tell. Anything could happen, really.
Now, according to Stu, you're just going to play the female role and just knit everybody
diplomacy.
some warmers. Is that what you're going to do? If you want to, in other words, if you want to disagree with Stu on the female role part, that's great.
Let me think.
Just send some armies to his new city. That's all.
I don't know yet. I was never very good at diplomacy in LOU. I was kind of always more of an aggressive player, so I suppose it would be a new role for me, but you never know.
Well, I was making a joke because I don't agree with Stu's assertion that the female roles. And say that to my wife, and she'll reach through the screen and get you. Yeah, I mean, what'll be interesting, I don't know are you guys still under your rainbows in the game?
Yeah, one more day.
Oh, let's get everybody's coordinates out there now. See, I'm under a permanent rainbow. I'm a GM, so I'm going to always have a permanent rainbow. But once that rainbow drops, it sounds like it's going to be real scary. I have existed, my old account, of course, that I had to abandon, which I just basically, as the GM, I just said, you have my permission to go and sack this town, as people did. I actually stocked it with several elementals for people to fight, so that was a lot of fun. We'll be doing some more of that kind of thing, which is, again, it's one of the differences between this game and LOUs. We'll be doing some kind of, I don't know if you noticed the tourney that's going on, but we do events like that. We'll also be doing some more kind of like live event type things where I throw out monsters or something. But in my old account, I was never attacked or anything like that. There's players who will just, all they do is trade. They're never ever attacked. It's not like LU, because the alliances are so tight and so kind of responsive to each other. And this is one of the reasons this is why we debate about whether or not we want whispering. You know, you guys had whispering, like private chat, right?
Yeah.
Which I'm sure you want, right?
That is the number one thing that the alliances said that they wanted was whispering.
Here's the deal. I'm not going to speak for design. I'm not going to say anything about it. But I'll just say what the lack of whispering does. I won't add on anything because design is not my thing, and the last thing we do is ever talk about anything design that we can't deliver or won't deliver or will deliver anything until it's ready to go. So with a global chat where everybody has to talk together except for in-game mail or except for an alliance, you have this sort of, I believe that there's a little bit more community responsibility. So if somebody's attacked and says, help me, I'm attacked, everybody knows about it. And so you might have this kind of non-bullying type of thing going on. That does not mean that there's not a lot of fighting. Of course there is. So it's an interesting thing. The GMs have discussed the whispering thing, and that's all I'll say about that. But it's interesting when you think about the fact that nobody can just send a message to somebody quietly. Do you know what I mean? So.
Yeah.
All right, so last thing here, last question, and then we'll move on to just if you guys have any questions for me. Stu, we'll start with you. Who are you going to attack first?
You wouldn't say that in public, would you?
No, I'm just kidding. It was a joke. It was a joke. But if you want to comment, go ahead.
Yeah, no. I think we're a long way off from attacking people. To be honest, we've got a lot of work to do before we start wasting troops on silly raiding.
Okay, Alakazam sounds like a much braver male-dominated player, male-type player. I'm not going to let you live that down, Stu. Who are you going to attack first, Alakazam?
There's a band of wolves near my city. That's right. Beyond that, I don't really have any plans. I need to learn how to attack first.
Here's one of the things you guys need to correct me, you guys and girls, I apologize, and correct me as well. In LAU, did you have wandering units like that? We have animals that wander the map. They actually will kind of migrate and move around, and you can attack them. Did you have that in LAU?
Something similar.
Okay, yeah, it's like you can find one outside of your. Now you need to be familiar. If you're not sure what it is, click on the animal and it'll say, for example, the size. Like I have some wild dogs outside my town. The size is mini. So if you're not sure what that means, because we don't give you an exact number, you can scout it and everything like that. The size is kind of a general number. A lot of players will tell you in chat, or a lot of profiles will have the listings.
Yeah, I've seen that. Yeah.
So make sure
the numbers, groups,
right. Yeah. Be very familiar with that. But once you figure out how many it is, you can kind of figure out. And once you kill them, then you can go take their hides. You can use their hides for crafting. You can sell those in the hubs and stuff like that. So there's a lot for you guys and girls to learn, which I'm really excited to see how it goes. Okay, and I don't think I asked Gordy. Gordy, who are you going to attack first as the alliance leader?
I really don't think that we're going to be doing much warring.
Here we go.
So I'm more excited actually for us to get built up and play in the tournaments, because that seems more like war. You always have casualties on both sides, whereas in a tournament we could actually have an outcome of winning. And so I think that's more the direction that I would like to go personally, is to win some of the game events. More than just go around attacking other alliances.
That's a very diplomatic answer, I'd have to say.
No one believes him, but I'm sure everyone's really on the floor laughing.
I think you're lying out of your teeth, and you're getting. Here's the if you're not.
I sound convincing.
If you're not, So if you're not familiar with really how the tournaments work, it's basically all you're doing is you're holding. Whoever holds a square for the longest gets the prize. Now the prizes we're giving out we actually give out a statue to the winners of each region. There are I think 37 regions I can't remember. If you click on the strategic mapping game, it'll show you. And each of the winners of that region, they'll get a statue, and they can place that statue, in the actual world. So it'll actually be a statue of theirs floating around the actual world, sitting there. So you can actually affect the map. And then you're going to get some units, some dragon units that are really, really incredible. I think this is the first time we've ever offered them. They're very, very powerful units. With the size of your alliance, I don't know that you could I don't know what you could do. Do you know what I mean? But really, there are some squares, if you check the alliance, if you check the, hold on, I'm going to click on your profile real quick. If you go to the tournament performance page and all that stuff like that, you can check out some of the squares. Some of them have huge numbers of casualties. I don't know if you guys saw the screenshot we posted yesterday. I think it was Aaron, where there was like 40 armies inbound to one square. It was absolutely incredible. So just your sheer numbers, you might be able to do something. I don't know. But you have some. So have any of you left Rainbow yet?
No.
I don't think any of you have.
Nope.
I'm looking at.
We all started last Thursday or Friday.
Wow.
Yeah, we went 15:25, I think, tomorrow. 17:25 tomorrow, I think, is the time.
So what happened? Did you just basically kind of decide on the game and the word got around really fast, or what?
It was more of a testing out the game. We went and looked at it, and then we went back and said, everybody come. And they all came.
Well, we appreciate it, especially if you spend a lot of money on Prestige. Ha, ha, ha. But no, seriously, we really appreciate it. It's been noticeable. Everybody's been funny. It's been funny to see the reactions in chat. First of all, some of them seem to be floored that there is a chat, like, oh my God, there's people talking. And then I think they're also floored at how helpful everybody is. But I don't want to give the false impression that everybody's just going to talk to you and be sweet to you. I mean, there's a lot of fighting going on, a lot of blood and guts. So it's going to be a lot of fun to see. So, Gordy, then how do you think your future, where do you think that's going to pan out in Illyriad? Just a prediction. You're going to just kind of feel it out as you go along, or are you going to get right to it?
No, we're organized. We already have plans. I'm a big long-term planner.
Very cool.
So we already have plans. We're a bunch of people who've played together for a long period of time. So I'm not worried about anything falling apart if things get rough. I think that we'll make it through. Okay. Luckily, the community is really nice, and so some of the things that you'd worry about in Lou, like getting attacked as a new alliance, I don't think is going to be as much of a problem just because we're new players. Mm. But
well, and one of the design aspects of that, I think, one of the ideas behind the game is to recreate quote unquote kind of real life aspects to warfare. Of course, we don't have like instant buildings and stuff, but I'm saying as close to that as we can. And one of the things that we want, there's a town called Ebony. You guys want to attack that one? Who is that? Let's look at the profile. Everybody on the stream, go attack this person. No, I'm just kidding. Sylvia's nice. Oh, it's Silmarin's alt. Okay. But one of the things we wanted to do is to say that, you can attack people right away, but it can be expensive and time consuming. It can take a while for your army to get there. So you're not being attacked just because you're nice and new and stuff like that. A lot of it's because it's kind of would be a hassle. Maybe there would be repercussions from the rest of the community. That could be seen as the rest of the world. So it has that real life kind of feel to it. Like you can't just willy-nilly go attacking people.
And we do have a lot of bigger alliances that are helping us. We've got confederations with a bunch of alliances, and so it seems like that it's pretty split, 50-50 or so. The alliances that want to be friends with us and want to see how we do in the game, and the other ones that say, just kill them all now and get them out of here.
That's a strategy. And we'll be watching it closely. We watch everybody closely. A lot of you players out there don't understand, but we have a lot of information. The game gives us a lot of information, and we watch a lot of it closely, especially the battles, the wars, and a lot of it's we make it publicly available. That's where Illy tools and other stuff comes from. But we make our information. If you go to the stats page, you can see so much happening. The world stats page, for example, all that stuff, attack stats, defense stats. We put that in there so that people could see the drama of the game unfolding, but also so they can make plans. And if you really know how to read that stuff, there's some pretty insane stuff going on. So, all right, in closing, we're going to go ahead and close it up here. We don't want to go too long. I just want to give the opportunity for each one of you, if you have any concerns or questions real quick that you wanted to ask me, maybe I can answer them. And if I can't, I will skip them. But Stu, let's start with you. Is there anything that maybe you're just curious about?
No, I think I've been getting questions answered in the global chat there. I think just from my point of view, it's great to see the developers and the CEO involved in the game directly. I think that was lacking in the previous two games. And I think it's good for flow of information between the developers and the guys that are actually playing the game and understand what's happening and would like to see things change. So I think it's fantastic, and keep it up.
Yeah, and you have to understand, EA is a much larger company. Ironically, the larger the company, it seems like the less hands-on they can be with the products because they just have so many players. I mean, World of Warcraft has over 4,000 devs, probably near 5,000 now, I bet. Stuff like that. So with an independent game, a smaller game, you're often going to get that hands-on thing. So appreciate that. Alex M, how about you? Did you want to take this opportunity that many players would kill for and just ask me a question or express a concern or an opinion?
I don't really have anything, to be honest.
Perfect.
No, I think all of my questions have been answered by everybody in global chat, and thank you very much to them. They've been so helpful and nice.
Well, that's not. They did my job for me. I'm not even getting paid for that. All right, very cool. How about you? Gordy, did I ask you yet?
No.
So what have you got to say, Gordy?
I mean, a lot of our gameplay questions get answered very well, and a lot of the people in there are very good at it. My biggest concern is, as a alliance of new people, is the world map has been pretty well populated. So for us, there's not a big area for us to go and grow in as much as probably other alliances have had in the past, just because they've been here for the past 4 years or however long the game's been open.
So you're concerned about the map getting crowded?
Yeah, if you look at the map, even the top 20 alliances pretty well populate the map, especially with the socially accepted 10 square rule. It doesn't leave a lot of space for a new alliance to group together somewhere. So that would be my biggest concern.
I would say that there are spaces. You need to look for them really and just work closely. Each one of your newbie towns, you will get a free movement, which is pretty standard, I believe, for MMORTS games because we do have to randomly place you generally. But you do get a free movement, so you might just keep that in mind. After that, you have to Exodus and stuff. Just be aware of that. You might use that, but use it carefully. Other than that, there is space out there. We have, I'm sure you've heard plans of the additional land mass that we have. I'm not going to say anything about it. It's been in the works for a long time, so that might or might not be an issue in the future. I can't say, and I won't say. But all I can say about that is that we've heard that a lot. So just, I would just carefully choose some spots. I know that some fans are really proud of the fact that they live way up, like on the edge of the map, But it is a massive map. I mean, it's 2001 by 2001 squares, which is pretty big.
Yeah, I've been spending some time mapping it out and looking through things. So
what initially drew me to the game was the in-game map, and I have a fantasy, you know how you have those nerd fantasies, and I have a nerd fantasy of having this map on my wall with all the squares so I can put tacks and stuff and all that fun stuff.
The old school graphing paper style?
Yes, but at 2001 by 2001 squares, even at a half inch, a quarter inch, it would be, longer than my house? Something like that? It would be insane.
But why did you use minus 1,000 to positive 1,000 as the design? That seems odd.
Why did we?
Yeah. Why did you not start 00 to 2000, 2000? It seems very odd to have a negative sign in a...
I'm not the designer. I'll have to ask. But the only
so here's my question.
Okay, the only thing I can think of is because 00 or Centrum should be in the very center. Maybe because that's the center point? I don't know. That's a kind of a lame question, huh? Or answer. Huh.
Yeah, it seems strange when it's an extra character, but it's very odd to see as a new player to see minus 1,000 as the bottom left, and
I see what you're saying. Right. Probably because I'm completely grasping at straws here. Like I said, I'm not being... I'll ask Stormcrow about that.
No, but it's a good answer. 00 in the middle would work. It's a good answer.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at Centrum, it's at 0 minus 1 or 00 in Middle Kingdom. It's kind of, how Main Street is the center of your town. That's what Centrum is. Centrum, in case you didn't know, is one of the faction hubs. You guys and girls probably haven't even started really messing with that yet. Trade hubs where you can trade goods. It's kind of like, think of it as GM Luna, the former GM, said, former community manager said, was think of it like the mall. You can set up a stall in the mall and sell your goods there. So you can even store goods there. So you might start looking into that now, for some strategic stuff. So yeah, Centrum's at 0-0. So that's what I'm thinking is because it's 2,000, you have 1,000 on one side and one on the other.
Yeah.
I think I actually just answered a dev question. Wow. That's pretty good. Thanks for joining me, guys. I'm surprised you didn't have any gripe, but you're new. This will be fun. I can't wait to probably silence one of you at least a couple times for cursing in chat. That'll be fun. We'll have our run-ins, which should be good. The good thing about Illyriad is there's a lot of drama. There's a lot of love, a lot of fun, a lot of friendliness. But my favorite part is there's just tons of fighting going on. It's always there. So it sounds like Alakazam's going to have fun because she's very aggressive, she said, and not diplomatic in any way.
Can be, I suppose. I don't know.
All right, thanks, guys. You stick around after I end this. Everybody, if you have any questions, of course, you can in-game mail me at gm-rikoo. Just search me there. I'm always in chat. People wonder why I'm always in chat. I'll let you in on a little secret. We are a virtual office. Some of us are. We work virtually. Some of us. And I leave the chat running 24/7. So yes, that's why I can always be in chat. I can get up at 2 a.m. to go to the bathroom and look and see if somebody's misbehaving. So I am always there. Just holler if you have any questions. It's better to send me an in-game mail. Try not to just yell my name out in chat. That can be kind of annoying, especially when you're just like, hi, I just want to say hi. But send me an in-game mail. You can also go on the forums. I think next up we're going to have our Illyriad strategy live stream, which will be trading. If you want to contribute to that, just let me know. That's coming up, I think, next week by the time you hear this. And then we're going to have, I think we're just wrapping up our profile contest for, I can't remember what the prize is on that. And then, of course, we still have our featured player of the month. We just awarded it to Real. We have a new player coming up next month. I'll be letting everybody know that in a few weeks. And then let's see how the tourney goes. We have the rest of the month to go. And these newbies from LOU will be out of Rainbow soon. So Gordy, I take it you're going to be attacking a square and holding it for the tourney then, right?
Oh, no. We'll be into the next one.
Well, the good thing is I think that you can probably, I tell people this all the time, if you're a newbie, a sandbox generally works this way. You don't have to be on the front lines, but you can be contributing goods or items or helping out in ways, so there's ways to do it. So good luck on that. And thanks, everybody, for joining us in Illy. I really appreciate all the LOUers coming over.
Oh, thanks for listening to us.
All right, we'll see you guys.
You.
Yeah, we'll see you guys on the strategy live stream on Monday. Take it easy. Bye-bye.